Okay, if you've been paying attention, you seen my rant from last night. Now I got another thing for you. You people out there between All Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter. You get angry when people come up with this Black Lives Matter. And you can't understand why people are angry when you counter with All Lives Matter. Because your counter of All Lives Matter is just basically saying, hey, you know what? My white life matters more than your black life because we could care less what's happening to you. You are dismissing what they are going through. Black Lives Matter does not mean nobody else's life matters. Black Lives Matters means that their life matters just as much as yours. So when you come back with all lives matters, what you're essentially telling these people is your life don't matter as much as mine. My white skin is more important than your black skin. That's what you're telling them. If somebody has a sign saying Latino lives matter, you come back to them with all lives matter, then what you are essentially saying is that their life doesn't matter as much as your white-skinned life. And then you wonder why they get angry. Wonder why they want to punch you. Well, first of all, you need to be slapped for not getting it. Please, really, get it. It's like the difference between saying breast cancer matters. Okay, if you say breast cancer matters, does that mean colon cancer don't matter? So shouldn't you be saying all cancer matters instead of just breast cancer matters? What's the difference there? Can you tell me what the difference is? If you say breast cancer matters, and let's say the medical profession has been basically downplaying breast cancer, has been ignoring breast cancer, has been giving excuses of why not to treat breast cancer. And you hold up a sign, and people have been giving reasons why they don't donate to stop breast cancer. And you hold up a sign saying breast cancer matters. Does that mean that you think all other cancers don't matter? Does that mean that you think, because they're saying breast cancer matters, but not all cancer matters, that they want to ignore all the other cancers? And what would it mean if you came back in and said, well, all cancers matter? What would it mean to a woman suffering from breast cancer, ignored medically, not treated, not able to get the treatment because she can't afford it because nobody donated to be able to allow people like her to get the treatment she needs. Not being able to have people out there studying the problem of breast cancer. What would it mean to that woman standing up there holding a sign saying, breast cancer matters? If somebody with who had testicular, you know what I mean, cancer in their balls, If somebody who had cancer in their balls was treated for it, didn't have to pay for it because there was plenty of donations for it. There was plenty of studies done in it. So now they could cure that cancer in your balls, in your testicles. And if that man walked up to that woman with the breast cancer who is not treated the same and said, well, all cancers matter, ma'am, what would have he been telling that woman? He's not willing to donate to the cause of breast cancer. He's not willing to help her get treatment for that breast cancer. He's not even willing to really address the problem of breast cancer. Oh, when it comes to his testicle cancer, oh, he's all for the fighting for that. But when it comes to her breast cancer, he's going to ignore it. And then when she's holding up a sign to bring attention to it, he's going to walk up to her and say, well, all cancers matter. That's what you're doing. Every time somebody holds up a Black Lives Matter sign, you're telling them their life don't matter as much as yours. When you say all lives matter. The same thing if somebody's standing up there saying Latino lives matter, LGBTQ lives matter. Because we all know all lives matter. But we all also know that in society, some lives are treasured and treated with more care than others, simply for the color of their skin or who they love. A murder of a white man is more likely to be thoroughly investigated over a murder of a black man or a gay man or even a Latino man or even an Asian man. You tell me how that's saying their life matters. An injustice to a white man, especially an injustice from anybody other than another white man, a white straight man, is more likely to be addressed than an injustice to any other group, especially if the other group happens today to be Latino, gay, or black. So you're going to tell me all lives matter? Because in your actions out there, you're not proving it. Maybe you need to ask why black people feel the need to hold up a sign saying Black Lives Matter, instead of getting angry at them and hollering all lives matter. Because, cancer in the testicles and cancer in the boobs matter equally. But if one gets ignored, you need to draw attention to it. Now, don't you? And if you keep on ignoring it, I'm sorry, women are going to get angry. And when some man walks up to her and says, well, all cancer matters, that woman's going to pretty soon want to punch that stupid asshole in the face. because you've ignored her and dismissed her for too long. And you're ignoring and you're dismissing the societal racist problems we are having. And you have done it for far too long. This is not just in today's society. The dismissal and the excuses and the reasons and the justifications for how white people treat other people of race, how Christians treat the LGBTQ community, all of that has been going on for far too long. The fact that crimes to these people are more likely to go unsolved and ignored, and officers are more likely to write false reports on them, is wrong. And if you as a white person cannot see that, then you're blind. Yes, all lives matter. But shouldn't a black life matter just as much as your life matters? Shouldn't their life be given the same equal treatment and consideration as your life? Oh, I know. I forgot. Oh, I don't see this happening in my neighborhood. First of all, ask yourself, how many black people are in your neighborhood? That's the first question you need to ask yourself. Huh? How many black people are there in your neighborhood? How many black people do you interact with every day? How many? Lately, I haven't been interacting with any. But yeah, I grew up with plenty of them. And yeah, I've seen what's happening to them. And yeah, I've seen it recently. When a black man was fired from his job because I got upset when a customer come in and called him a nigger. I've seen it recently. When a boy, kitty corner from my home, hung himself because of a bunch of white boys telling him that he needed to kill himself or they were going to kill him because he was gay. And then the only kind of justice that boy got in his death was to have one of the people who tormented him go to his funeral and laugh. And then the courts to say that what these boys told this 14-year-old child was not hate speech. It was freedom of speech. It was not a threat to the child's life. It was freedom of speech. Because his life did not matter as much as a white straight person's life. He was a white gay person, but his life did not matter as much as a white straight boy's life to be able to threaten him and torment him until he killed himself. So wonder why. Why we get angry with that when a sign of Black Lives Matter is held up. You counter with all lives matter. Because in your actions, actions, you have purely, completely proven to you all lives don't matter. You have essentially just dismissed a whole group of people's lives. You downplayed what happens to them. You've made it acceptable for cops to hide and commit their crimes on them. You've made it so that it's all right to ignore the crimes done to them. That's what your All Lives Matters does. So why don't you think about that before you start to pipe up and open that big ugly mouth of yours to holler all lives matter when you see a Black Lives Matter sign. And instead of saying all lives matter, holler justice for the wrong that has been done. Because we're getting sick and tired of no justice. We're getting sick and tired of the justification of it. We're getting sick and tired of people getting away with hiding it, with altering the facts to hide their actions to get away with it. And then when the facts come out much later, after they got away with it, people saying things like, well, he was in jail before. Or that child shouldn't have had that gun, that toy gun. Or he shouldn't have resisted arrest. When it clearly the video shows he wasn't. But because the first narrative was out there, you will ignore the video that comes out later. And keep spilling, just spilling out that original justification without even looking at the facts. Essentially just completely saying, I don't need the facts because their life does not matter. All lives matter. Theirs don't. So think about that.